What's up, nerds? I think I've figured out the mystery behind the all-staff meeting that was previously thought already tied up in a neat little bow. It's gonna take clues from Security Breach, Ruin, and Help Wanted 2. And the story Steel Wool needed all three games to tell. So strap into your Roxy Raceway go-karts and let's chase after some leads. The all-staff meeting that took place in Security Breach was ostentatiously about a mass layoff that took place at the Pizzaplex. However, FNAF, in the video I Solved FNAF Security Breach, brought to everyone's attention the idea that the staff meeting is in actuality about killing the night staff. After the staff meeting, the Mazer-sized key is still there, and Endo was eating cake that was meant to be at the meeting, and the subsequent company retreat that could act as a cover for where everyone went. There's also the missing therapists who Vanny or Patient 46 would have probably made face a similar fate. I'm taking this concept a step further, however, because I don't think that the staff bots are just replacing the employees. I think that the staff bots are the employees. Their consciousness have been placed into the bots. Now, they can't discover the strange sinkhole the construction team was so close to, nor complain about their 14-hour shifts. But you might think that it's a bit of a stretch to go from murder to possession, to which I say you did see that you clicked on a FNAF video, right? But I suppose I can take us to the next clue. The response to both Help Wanted games have been overwhelmingly positive, but there is something that separates the two games in a pretty big way, and that is the contents of their mini-games. In the first games, you primarily play as someone experiencing the stories from across the FNAF world. A majority of the gameplay focuses on your survival against the animatronics, the exceptions to this being parts and service and vent repair, which, while still putting your virtual life in danger, they focus on completing a task that would normally be undertaken by a Fazbear employee. I think Steel Wool took these concepts and ran with them for the sequel game. In Help Wanted 2, most of our games focus on what a Fazbear employee would need to do. We serve food, repair animatronics, do their makeup, and repair a carousel. I even think that the carnival and boat ride could be training for Fazarcade. I believe that Help Wanted 2, we are training to be a staff bot in the Pizzaplex. We know for a fact that the protagonist of Help Wanted 2 is a staff bot, given the fact that we see them as the mask bot handing Cassie the Vanny mask during the course of Ruin. So it would track that this staff bot would need some sort of staff bot training. While we briefly touched on the star of the most recent FNAF game, other than that weird Roblox beta that was quickly pulled, we can see how recent theories can tell the journey from human to staff bot. In Ruin, we discover that Cassie's dad used to be a technician at the Pizzaplex, and that he has gone missing. Where have we heard that one before? A bunch of employees who went missing? That's right, the all-staff meeting! However, a recent not real name, not at all video has posited that this staff bot used to be the person who left behind the memos about Princess Quest, since that message was left in a room next to some glasses. Glasses that are also known to be worn on a very specific staff bot, that being the mask bot. In addition, recent videos from both Toast and ID's Fantasy suggest that Cassie's dad is also Jeremy Fitzgerald from FNAF 2, the kid with the Bonnie mask from The Bite, and Jeremy the Playtester. While I'm not sure everyone is convinced that he's all three, most people would probably wager a guess that he's at least one. And that's all I need for the sake of this. Because regardless of who he was once human. A human who was presumably fired from Fazbear Entertainment and let go. Let go of this mortal coil, perhaps. Picture the scene. Jeremy is going in for just another day at work at the Pizzaplex, when an all-staff meeting is called. It's late night, sure, but if he doesn't show, he'll be fired. And Jeremy loves this job. He's always been a fan of the Freddy's brand, especially Bonnie. Someone will need to pick up Cassie from the Pizzaplex before it gets too late, though. This is the last time she'd ever see her father. Jeremy heads down to the all-staff meeting, only to be met by their new, unqualified security guard, and an army of terrifying endoskeletons. The next thing he knows, he's in a VR world, memories hazy, and training or being reprogrammed for this new position at Freddy's. Jeremy's remnant now infused into a staff bot, his body, who knows, maybe one of the many pizza ovens took care of that. Cassie sees the newspaper. Local residents continue to disappear, and for now, is left with only questions. A bit of a Faz wrench in my theory is the Nightmare-owned bots that appear in Security Breach. These charming fellas appear pretty infrequently during the game, yet almost as frequently as the main antagonist herself. But I think where they appear and their appearance are key to understanding them. The post-it notes room door being labeled as the Charlie door in the files hints that Charlie is in the building somewhere. Whether as a robot child or poltergeist, it's hard to deny her presence, and long-striped arms aren't felt throughout the Pizzaplex. I think that Charlie vandalized these staff bots because they were all being influenced by Glitchtrap, whose hand we can see makes an appearance in the Mask Bots training program. Once Charlie has vandalized the bots, they're no longer suitable to be rolling around the Pizzaplex, and are confined to the sewers and old pizzeria simulator location unless they're needed for a special occasion, like disassembling Freddy. There, staff bots are also noticeably angrier than the rest of the staff bots. seen by them being capable of killing the player if they accidentally fall into their pit, whereas most of the staff bots either ignore the player or alert someone else to their position. The Nightmare bot's isolation and mutilation has grown a deep anger inside of them, which is pretty normal response for a human, but a weird one if they were only robots. While we're talking about staff bots, let's talk about some of the things that they talk about and what is said about them. These are just some odd tidbits, not sure if they all support my theory, but I think they're worth pointing out regardless. Joke's on him though. Turns out the new staff bots, the quote, better employees quote, aren't programmed to make chicken Alfredo, so HQ fired him for firing me. What we need to point out here is that the staff bots being called better employees, they're still referred to as employees despite supposedly having no more consciousness than a Roomba. Perhaps they are the better versions of their old selves. Now they don't complain, don't get tired, and don't call the cops on any suspicious activity. Not to mention that they are stated to be new in this message, but by the time of security breach, they're basically running the whole place. Next, on to quotes from the bots themselves. One Fazbot shouts,
"This one is for Stewie."
There's no other character mentioned that is named Stewie or Stuart, and this is probably just a reference to Security Breach's chief technical engineer, Stuart Johnson, but it could also be referencing an in-game staff bot that perhaps in another life was named Stewie. It shows that the staff bots can crave revenge. Heading below the Pizzaplex, we find a bot in the sewers that says,
"Help me."
Talk about help wanted. All jokes aside, it's a pretty simple phrase, but a robot pleading with us for help is a bit concerning, especially because these robots already say so few things that it's concerning that a cry for help is one of them. These next lines are a little more focused on the Jeremy theory aspect than staff bots at large, but please indulge me, we'll circle back. First off is a little vague.
"So, where are all my single dads? Any single dads tonight?"
While we don't technically know that Jeremy and Miss Cassie's mom are divorced, much like the protagonists of FNAF's past, the moms are seemingly forgotten. She is unmentioned by Jeremy or Cassie, but her being absent would explain how Cassie was able to sneak into an abandoned and near-condemnable Pizzaplex without any trouble. It would also explain why Cassie spent so much time at the Pizzaplex if her dad was her only present parent. A little more on the nose.
"Don't you hate it when your parents take you somewhere fun and abandon you? They're all like, I guess if I dump little Jeremy off at his favorite pizzeria before I move to Aruba, that makes me a good parent."
You know it's serious when they name-drop another Jeremy. This line could explain Jeremy's fascination and commitment to what he knows is a shining company with a dark past and present. Jeremy might feel at home with the Fazbear Company, perhaps he spent a lot of time there as a child, and now is giving Cassie a similar childhood. But with her dad always staying nearby, Jeremy's devotion to the company has turned into a prison. Finally, we can touch on some unused lines.
"I am home.
"You're home early.
I quit my job.
What about the children? We have a down payment on a new closet."
I do not know what I was thinking. I was compelled to leave my post."
"This is no longer working. I am leaving."
"Do not go.
"May you be happy in the life you have chosen."
Do not leave me."
While we don't know who these lines are attributed to, since they ultimately go unused, they could be in reference to the mass layoffs that occurred before everyone began possessing staff bots. It could also represent the relationship Jeremy had with Cassie's mom. Lastly, we have who is presumably going to be the masked bot going,
"Cassie. Cassie. Cassie. Is that you? Cassie. Cassie. Is that you?"
Which, while we do see Roxy clearly remember her, Roxy is a much more advanced animatronic, complete with a personality and everything. A staff bot showing this level of sentience shows that this probably would have come from Jeremy Bot. You know, between saying we're special and a superstar, these FNAF games can be real confidence boosters. But what makes Jeremy different from the rest of the staff bots and able to help Vanny literally squish Afton? Part of it is perhaps our experience as a technician. We would have experience putting on and subsequently taking off the Vanny mask. Jeremy, seeing the prompt, would have understood what it meant. Next is the fact that if Jeremy was the same Jeremy that had worked with Silver Parasol Games previously, then he would have already dealt with Glitch Trap in the past, giving him an advantage over the other humans turned bots in terms of mental fortitude. Lastly, and most sentimentally, is the fact that he knows that Cassie needs him. He may somehow still be able to feel her presence, even in his new form, and use his love for his daughter to keep him focused. Also, the title of the game is kind of a clue. Wait, what? The first game is you training for a new job with Fazbear, hence the pun Help Wanted, and this game is also called Help Wanted, not just because it's a sequel, but also because you are still training for a new job. Just now you're training to be a staff bot, the only employee Fazbear has now. Huh, I guess that makes a lot of sense, actually. Sure thing, bud. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to watching some Q*bert cartoons. Catch you later. The FNAF universe has never offered up easy answers, but perhaps this can wrap up some dangling threads in the story. Next time you see a staff bot and decide to squirt a condiment at them during a fit of rage in Papa's Pizzeria, just remember that used to be a person. But feel free to share your thoughts, as well as tell me how correct you think I was, if at all, and I'll see you for your next shift.
Do you ever look at your hands? I mean, really look at your hands.